Very good. The question says maximize or minimize the function xy subject to for x squared plus y squared equals to 8. So let us take a look at the graph, see what's happening here. Here we have the graph of xy, and we want to know what are the maximum and minimum of this function subject to, if it's bounded to, for x squared plus y squared equals to 8. Well, okay. We're going to apply Lagrange multipliers method. In this method, we're going to take the gradient of f and set it equals to the gradient of g multiplied by lambda. Remember that when these two vectors are parallel to each other, we get the maximum and minimum value of this function. The level curves are touching. Very good. So the calculus part says the gradient of f is y, comma x equals to lambda, the gradient of g, 8x, and 2y. So we're pretty much done with calculus. Calculus is done. The rest is pure algebra. Now we need to set the system of equations and solve. Very good. Your very first equation is y equals to lambda 8x. And the second one is x equals to lambda 2y. So one method is just doing the division, am I right? You can just take these two equations and divide them. One method. So here you have y over x equals to lambda 8x divided by lambda 2y. Here you can cancel lambda and lambda with the condition that lambda is not 0. Here you're allowed to do the division. So y over x becomes 4x divided by y, or from algebra, what we learned before, y squared is 4x squared. Keep that in mind that you have the relation between x and y for now. I'm not going to simplify this. Why? Because if I look at my constraint, I have everything written in x squared, y squared. Substitute in g of x and y. This is your very next step. So let's do the substitution and see what do we have. We get 4x squared plus y squared is just 4x squared again. And on the right hand side, I have my 8. So I get 8x squared equals to 8, where x squared is 1. You have two possibilities for your x. X is 1, x is negative 1. Very good. Now that I have my x values, I can easily find the y values. All right. This guy says y is plus minus 2x. When x is 1, your y becomes plus minus 2. When your x is negative 1, your y becomes minus plus 2. So what's the meaning of that? It means that we ended up having 4 points, 1 and 2, 1 and negative 2, negative 1 and 2, negative 1 and negative 2. Now you're going to take these points and substitute them back into the function. Substitution in f of x and y, which is x, y. So let me write this down here, substitution in g, in the constraint. So we are more clear on that. So f of 1 and 2 is equal to 1 times 2 or 2. F of 1 and negative 2 is minus 2. F of negative 1 and 2 is negative 2. F of negative 1 and negative 2 is 2. So now you're just comparing these z values, am I right? The maximum is 2, and the minimum is -2. So at 2 points, you have maximum 1 and 2, -1 and -2. At 2 points, you have the minimum 1 and -2, -1 and 2.